Leo, full moon, mirror, and reflection. This full moon in Leo is not passive illumination. It is self-proclamation under witness. Leo doesn't ask, "Who am I?" Leo declares, "This is who I am." And the mirror appears because identity can only be stabilized when it is reflected, challenged, adored, and tested. In this lunation, the mirror is split into two living reflections. They are not opposites. They are interdependent forces of becoming. The first reflection is the shadow. The shadow is not the rejected self. It is the uninitiated self, placed in the womb. This reflection speaks of origins, imprinting, memory, and unconscious vows formed before language. The ring is the key here. A ring binds, a ring seals, a ring repeats. This is the Ouroboros pattern. Cycles that were sworn in survival, loyalty or love, and repeated without conscious authorship. Thanatos arrives not as destruction, but as liberation through ending. This reflection asks, which identities have you been loyal to long past their usefulness? Which roles did you inherit rather than choose? Under the full moon, the shadow does not want exile. It wants closure. The ego here is refined through death. I am no longer who I had to be to belong. Second reflection. The king. The king does not emerge from approval. The king emerges from solitude. The cave is initiation space where identity is forged without applause. Here, the vow is conscious, spoken, chosen. This is not a promise made to survive. This is a vow made to create. Eros moves through this reflection as embodied life force. Desire with direction, love with authorship, power without domination. This king does not rule others. The king claims self-value as law. The ego here is not inflated. It is stabilized. I choose who I am becoming, and I stand by it. This full moon reveals the sacred truth of the twin flame path. Nothing is born that has not died. Nothing dies that does not become fuel for love. The shadow releases the old ring. The king speaks the new vow. This is not about union with another. This is about union with self after truth. Under this full moon in Leo, I stand inside the mirror, not to judge myself, but to witness who I am becoming. I honor the shadow that lived in my womb, the identities I carried before I knew I had a choice. I release the rings I wore in silence, the vows I never consented to. I let Thanatos move through me, ending what no longer reflects my truth. And from the cave of my own presence, I rise as the king. I speak a vow that is mine alone. I choose my life force consciously. I let arrows move through my voice, my body, my decisions. My ego is not something to dissolve. It is something to claim. I proclaim my self-value. I stand as an individual among individuals. I no longer wait to be reflected. I become the reflection. As you breathe, feel where you are seated. Feel the weight of your body being held. This is important because this Leo full moon is not happening above you. It is happening through your nervous system. A full moon is always a mirror. The moon reflects the sun. And Leo asks, what version of you is ready to be witnessed now? This lunation activates the ego, not as distortion, but as self-proclamation. Ego here means I know who I am. I know what I value. I am willing to stand inside my own reflection. The nervous system feels this as activation. Heart rate increases. Emotion rises. The body prepares to be seen. So we regulate first, not to dim the fire, but to hold it safely. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your lower belly. This connects Leo heart with the womb of origin. This shadow does not live in darkness, it lives in pre-choice memory. The womb holds ancestral imprints, survival identities, roles formed before language. The ring represents unconscious vows, loyalty and pain, repetition of pattern, cycles sworn in order to belong. Thanatos moves here as sacred completion, not punishment, not loss, but the nervous system finally receiving the signal. The danger is over. When the body realizes survival is no longer required, old identities can die without fear. You may feel this as grief without story, emotional release, fatigue, deep exhale. Let it happen. This is the shadow unbinding itself. The king emerges after death. The cave is the place of solitary truth, where identity is forged without audience, where the nervous system stabilizes into authority. The vow is spoken consciously. This is the moment the ego becomes clean, no longer defensive, no longer compensating, no longer proving. Eros moves through the body as regulated desire, not craving, not attachment, but life force with direction. You may feel this as warmth in the chest, strength in the spine, clarity in the voice. This is Leo fire anchored in presence. Twin flame dynamics are not romantic fantasies. They are mirror-based nervous system activations. The mirror exists to show you where identity collapses, where self-value stabilizes. The shadow reflection activates the freeze or fawn response, the old need to belong. The king activates the ventral vagal state, safety in self. This full moon is calibrating the mirror. You may notice less obsession, less pull, more self-containment. This is not disconnection. This is integration. When the nervous system regulates, the mirror stops screaming and starts reflecting truth. Thanatos clears the old ring. Eros fuels the new vow. Death and desire are not opposites. They are partners. One clears the space, the other fills it with life. This is the twin flame path of maturity. No chasing, no proving, no collapsing, only resonance. Under this full moon, Leo, I release identities born of survival. I close cycles I did not consciously choose. I allow sacred endings to complete their work. From the cave of my own presence, I rise as my own authority. I speak a vow aligned with my life force. My ego is clear. My heart is ready. My nervous system is safe in my body. I proclaim my self-value. I stand as an individual among individuals, whole, sovereign, alive. Take one final breath. Exhale slowly. Let the mirror settle.